In chapter 14 of the Gospel according to Jesus, John MacArthur deals with the parable of the day laborers, which is found in Matthew chapter 20, verses 1 through 16. Now the parable is well known. A man comes out to hire day laborers at 6 a.m. and he says, "You work for 12 hours, I will pay you 1 denarius." 1 denarius was a small silver coin worth about $40 or $50 today. Then he hires people at 9 a.m., noon, 3 p.m., and 5 p.m. And those people work anywhere from 9 hours, 6 hours, 3 hours, or only 1 hour. And to all of them, he says, "I'll give you what's fair." At the end of the day, surprisingly, he pays them all the same amount. They all get 1 denarius. And the people who work the whole day are disappointed because they're like, "We worked 12 hours. These people over here only worked an hour, and yet they're getting the same pay." And the Lord's response is, "I can pay people what I want." Well, Dr. MacArthur's interpretation of the parable is it's all about salvation, and that Jesus can give salvation to people who only work a little bit or salvation to people who work a lot. The problem with his view is on its face, this is works salvation. After all, isn't it called the parable of the day laborers? It's not the parable of the day believers, it's the parable of the day laborers. And the issue in this parable is not salvation or everlasting life. The issue here is everlasting rewards. And so the simple interpretation of this parable is the Lord is saying, look, if for some reason beyond your control, your opportunity to serve Christ is cut short by an early death or by the rapture, you're not going to be penalized. So that someone who at the time of the rapture has served Christ for 80 years can be equally rewarded with someone who served Christ faithfully for 1 year if they're both equally faithful. And in fact, it's important to recognize the word wage or misthos occurs in this parable. The Lord is paying wages. And we also know from other passages that not all believers are going to receive the same reward. In the parable of the minas, the first servant rules over 10 cities, the second over 5 cities. Yet in this chapter, John MacArthur says, oh, there are no special rewards. Everybody has the same salvation. Everybody has the same degree of reward. In fact, he goes so far as to say that one who comes to faith on his deathbed will have the same eternal rewards as the apostles. But that's contradicted by the fact that only the apostles will sit on 12 thrones and rule over the 12 tribes of Israel. None of the rest of us in the church age have the opportunity to rule over the 12 tribes of Israel. That's reserved for the apostles. So this parable is about everlasting rewards, about laboring for Christ that we might one day hear him say, "Well done, good servant."